Hello everyone, how are you? Welcome to the virtual class for BCK. I see two of you have already commented. I would really like everyone who's watching to just comment a hello or anything that you want, right? So that we can start a conversation. And meanwhile, I see all of you typing in your comments and a hello or a hi. Let me introduce myself. My name is C. Arjit Sethi, and I have been a chartered accountant for over 2 years now. And I am actually very passionate about this particular subject. And that is why I think we'll have a series of virtual classes here where we'll discuss about business, how businesses work, how businesses strategize, what is this subject all about, why is it so important for us to study at this initial stage in chartered accountancy, right? Hi Isabella, I see. Good afternoon, Yoga. Hi Gagandeep, how are you? Good to see all of you joining in, right? We'll just take 30 seconds for few more of you to comment so that you get set up. Right? I know it's a hot afternoon. All of you after lunch are feeling dizzy, but I can assure you we'll have an exciting time over the next 2 hours. Okay. I would really want some more highs or hellos. And meanwhile we get that, let me share my screen so that we can discuss on the chapter. Here we go. Right. That is correct. Okay, perfect. All right, so let us just begin with this virtual class, which is first virtual class for BCK. A lot of hellos. Finally, I see a lot of hellos. I think I would have refreshed. Perfect. Hi Maddie, hi Amol, hi Ashna, hi Aryan, hi Shiva Prasad, Pooja, Rahul, Mohit, hi Bishwabandhu, hi Amit. How are you? No, Vishwa, we'll come to that where I'm from. Let that be a mystery. I think I will reveal that in the fifth lecture. All right, so let that be a mystery for you where I'm from. Good to see you all. Good to see you all. All right, without wasting much of your afternoon, let us just start with this BCK, that is Business and Commercial Knowledge, chapter paper number 4, part 2 in your foundation course, right? Okay, so let me just give you a brief about what this paper is all about, paper 4. So paper 4 is basically divided into two parts. That is your business economics and business and commercial knowledge, right? You will have 100 MCQs. MCQs are multiple choice questions of 1 mark each, right? And the paper will be of 2 hours. Now, the part A of this paper is business economics, which will have 60 MCQs, and part B is business and commercial knowledge that we are going to discuss today and over the period of these sessions, which will have 40 MCQs of 1 mark each, right? And I'm very confident if you go through these lectures, if we have a conversation, this entire session of 10 or 11 sessions are going to be completely conversational, right? I would really want you all to talk over this comment section. I'll have a lot of questions. We'll solve a lot of questions, a lot of MCQs. We'll understand what is happening around the world, right? We'll go dig deep into news. We'll have some conversation and debates also, right? So this 40 MCQs, I can assure you, you're getting 100 out of 100 in this, right? Okay, so coming to the next thing, I'll just give you a brief again on how MCQs work. So they in the exam hall, you will have an OMR sheet, which will look something like this, right? Where you'll have a pen or a pencil, right? We'll read that, what the rules from ICAI are. And you have to mark the correct option for the particular question. Like question number 1, the option is B, just circle, darken it. Right? That is what OMR sheet is, and that is how the exams are to be solved. Okay, now my question to you would be like how the questions would come in the examination, right? A lot of us are not interested in the subject, but we are more interested in knowing how the question will come to us. So this is an example, right? On the screen right now, you are looking at an example. So the example is, which of the following is not an economic objective of a business, right? This is my question to you. You can drop in your answers in the comment box. Let us see how many of you can get it right. So the question is, which of the following is not an economic objective of business? Is it A, earning profits? Is it B, increasing shareholders' wealth? Is it C, sales growth? Or is it D, conservation of natural resources, right? Which of the following is not an economic objective of business? 30 seconds on the timer. I want all of you to comment the right option, right? Good. All right, Pooja, I'll try to speak more loud. right? And I think my neighbors wouldn't mind me speaking loud. Okay, wonderful. Unexpected questions. Yes, you can guess that. This is ICI. Welcome to ICI. Welcome to Chartered Accountancy course. Everything is unexpected, right? Okay. Amol has given an answer. Mohit has given. I will not reveal the answer. Let others also complete. 15 more seconds, everybody. Write down the comment. Write down in the comment section the right option you feel is not an economic objective of a business. Hmm. You guys are getting a flavor of the subject right in 5 minutes, like the first 5 minutes of in the lecture, and you're getting the flavor. Wonderful. Okay, last 5 seconds, and then we will reveal the answer. Correct? Perfect, perfect, perfect. Wonderful. Okay, so the correct answer is conservation of natural resources. Option number D. 90% of you have given option number D, right? Why? Because we are talking about economic objectives here. Which of the following is not an economic objective, right? That means it is not related to earning money. Conservation of natural resources is an objective of business, but it is not an economic. It is not related to earning money, right? This is how simple this subject is going to be. So I think that gives you a confidence. Okay, let us just dive into chapter number 1 of business and commercial knowledge, which is an introduction, right? This chapter is very long, right? The introduction itself is very long. Why? Because of two reasons. First is, like, there has been a long debate that why CAs versus MBAs. This is a long going debate, right? Every day we hear about MBAs are getting this, MBAs are getting that, but CAs are not getting that. So this is something that the institute is imbibing in the very first step, that is the foundation course. They're giving you a flavor of what business is, how businesses strategize, what actually business is looking after, what is a business, what types, what are the different kinds of business, what does a business has to gauge, has to understand in the environment, and how does it have to drive to all these changes, right? In this short chapter, in this short paper itself, they're giving you so loads of information that will help you understand what actually a business is, right? So beginning with the introduction itself, like what is business and commercial knowledge. Okay, I'll start with a small example. Right? Look around your room, like wherever you're sitting, be it a room, be it a cafe, be it your bedroom, be it your drawing room, wherever you're sitting, look around. There's a laptop in front of you. There would be a water bottle. There would be a table. There would be a chair. There would be a fan. There would be a window, curtains, clothes, like cushions, this, bed sheet, everything that's around you, right? Did you buy it directly from the producer? Did you go to directly to the producer, the people, the farmer, and you bought cotton and did you produce it yourself? I think the answer is no, right? Or did you go to the shopkeeper? Instead of going to the producer, you went to the shopkeeper who had all these stuff, you bought it and you brought home, correct? I think the answer is two for each one of us. We went to the shopkeeper itself. We did not go to the producer or to the farmer or someone who is cutting wood. We are not going to them and buying a table. We're going to the shopkeeper, the trader, right? Second question would be, maximum of the things around you would be something you paid for, your parents paid for, or you paid for, right? So a little, very few things are which are gifted to us. 99% of the things we own, we earn money and we pay for them, right? Now, why is this important? Now, this is a question number 1 for you. So this entire virtual sessions will have small quizzes. You can hear quick quiz number 1. You will have the quiz number here, and we will have a lot of questions. So this is quick quiz number 1 for you. On the screen, what is the actual flow of trade in your opinion? We just discussed things around you. You bought it from somewhere, from a shopkeeper, right? Then it was paid. You paid money to that shopkeeper and you bought that product. So what do you think is the actual flow of trade? Actual flow of trade in your opinion? How a particular thing, or how a particular good comes to you, right? A consumer from a producer, right? Okay, 30 seconds back on the clock. I want all of you to answer. Oh, I want all of you to answer. I think I revealed the answer, but not an issue. Learning is the key. What is the actual flow of trade in your opinion? The paper is likely to be easy. Absolutely, yes. It is super easy if you understand the concepts. Everything is easy if you get the concept right. We'll come to all your questions. There negative marking, or this is how to solve the question, what type of questions. We'll come to slowly and steadily. The focus should be on understanding the concept of why are we actually studying this subject altogether. Why am I being forced to study this subject should be the focus, because this is extremely interesting and necessary, right? I see Sandeep and Sudhish have already answered. Wonderful. Okay, a lot more, a lot more. Dharmic, I would suggest we will stick to English, right? Because that is something is universally accepted everywhere, even when you go for jobs. So this is the right step to start being confident in learning, right? That's right. Wonderful, wonderful. Wow. Okay, okay. Smart bunch of people, I think. We might have to stop the session because I think all you all know everything. Okay, option. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I see a lot of you typing the entire answer. That's really good because you're focusing, you're interested in this. Thank you so much for that. Okay, last 5 seconds and then we will reveal. All right, Nafisha has written, Dipanshi, Rahul, Pooja, Saundarya has written, Weber, Gagan, Jonak, okay, Vanshida, Utkarsh. Okay, wonderful. Soumya, Harish, Moksh. Wonderful, yeah. Very good. Hmm. If you start studying from today, will you be able to clear foundation exams? I can guarantee yes. This is a small and very interesting. This is more like a novel, right? If you go and study the study material, it's all entirely like a story. It's like a novel, right? It's I think it's very interesting. Okay, let us go with the answer. The correct answer is option number D, which is from producer to wholesaler to trader and to a consumer. 99% of you have given the correct answer. That is how things flow from a producer to a wholesaler to a trader and then to a consumer. Someone produces, someone collates it, collects it in a huge quantity, spreads it into small shopkeepers that are traders, and you finally go and buy from that shopkeeper. Wonderful. Okay, let us understand the first concept from this chapter of introduction. Okay. That is domains of BCK. Domains of BCK. What are domains? What do you understand by domains? All right. So domain is basically characteristics, different aspects, right? What are the different characteristics of business and commercial knowledge? What are the different aspects I need to understand when I'm understanding a business or I'm understanding commerce as a whole? Right? First one is BCK is vast. It is vast. It is wide. It is very huge. It is very wide. All right. How? I'll give you an example. Retail trade, right? Small shopkeepers, fruit sellers on the road, like producers, your mom or your mother's friends working on WhatsApp, right? Even that is BCK. Even they're doing business. They're selling saris and like suits from Varanasi in Delhi, from Mumbai, some jewelry in Mumbai being sent to Bangalore, right? That is all business. It's working on WhatsApp. From that phone to some huge showrooms like IKEA or More Store or Reliance Fresh, right? Or your huge brands like H&M or your Levi's or Nike, Adidas. Everyone is doing retail, right? But different type. Everyone is doing the retail. You get the concept. Everyone is doing retail. Everyone is a shopkeeper, but the size is entirely different. Similarly, for wholesaler, someone is selling scrap, someone is selling bread, someone is selling nut bolts, someone is selling commercial material, someone is selling building material. It is vast. Business is as wide as you can think. Someone is producing cars, someone is producing electric cars, someone is producing batteries, someone is producing plastic covers. Whatever you think, whatever you see around you is something has a commercial aspect to it, right? This is how vast BCK is. Second, BCK is eclectic. What is eclectic? Okay, that's a huge English word for us, but good. Your vocabulary should also evolve, right? BCK is eclectic. Eclectic means multidisciplinary. Multidisciplinary? I thought eclectic was difficult, but you're giving the answers multidisciplinary. Okay, I'll explain. So eclectic is multidisciplinary. Multidisciplinary means it has different disciplines. What are disciplines? Different subjects, different parts to it, right? For example, marketing, finance, operations, human behavior, HR, economics, ethics, different aspects together form a business, right? If you understand, a business has different departments: finance department, HR department, operations, they have purchase department, the sales department, sales guys, this, that, ethics, corporate, compliance. It's multidisciplinary. It has different subjects, different people working together in a business, in a commerce, in a commercial activity, in a business, right? So BCK is eclectic, it's multidisciplinary. Third one is, it is ever evolving and expanding. The best example is startups. You find a new idea every day. You see someone is doing something new every day, right? Like we thought like Tupperware was something very huge. We have new covers which are keeping stuff hot. There's new materials are evolving, new cars, new watches. Smartwatch was nothing 2 years before. Like 2 years ago, no one even thought what a smartwatch is. Now everyone is wearing a smartwatch which starts from around 2,000 rupees, right? So that is how BCK, business, commerce, commercial activity in the country, in the world, is evolving. It is always evolving. It is growing. It is going ahead, right? And it is always expanding. It is becoming bigger and bigger every single day, right? So three things in BCK: it is vast, it is wide, it is eclectic. It has different subjects, different disciplines being brought together. And third one is, it is expanding, it is ever evolving, it is ever expanding, right? Okay, too much of information, I think. Now let us go to quick quiz number 2 that is on your screen. Okay, now this is something different. I think most of you who are interested in stock markets would know, but let us see who can answer this. What are the two animal references in stock market jargon? What are the two animal references in stock market jargon? What is jargon? Jargon means language, right? Jargon means language. So what are the two animal references in stock market jargon? Is it cows and sheep, lions and deers, bulls and bears, or cats and dogs? 30 seconds on the clock, and here we go. Also, if you have any questions, just keep dropping. I will try to answer all of those, right? All business activity is economics involved. That is our next topic of discussion. We will come to that. It's good that you're thinking. PPT is uploaded. Bishwabandhu, I think PPT is uploaded. You will get the link, or you should have that link. Retailers and traders are the same thing. Yes, they are more or so the same thing. Retailers is basically retailing, buying and selling. Trader is also buying and selling. So in a broader aspect, yes, they're same. I think my voice is clear, right? I see a few of you writing, please, voice is not clear. Just let me know if you find an issue. I'll try to speak louder. Okay, I see a lot of Rakesh Jhunjhunwalas and a lot of Scam 1992 people, right? Everyone is getting it right. And most of you would be having that theme song in your mind right now, Scam 1992. Suprita, you're putting a question mark in front of the answer. Is it a question to me? I want you to answer that. Okay, let us reveal the answer. And it's bulls and bears, right? Bulls are people who are positive, who are optimistic with the market, and bears are people who are pessimists, who think the market will always fall, or they want the market to fall, are bears. And bulls are the people who want market to grow, who are expecting market to grow, right? Okay, why am I even studying BCK? Like, that is the question. When I was a student, I always kept the first question that came to mind: why should I study this particular subject? Right? I will speak louder. Okay. So, why are we actually studying this chapter altogether, or this subject altogether? Right? First and foremost thing, a business involves a lot of things. Like, once you become a chartered accountant, once you are a professional working in the industry or on your own practice, or even if you're starting your own business, right? I would say even if you're not wanting to do some job, even if you want to be an entrepreneur, it is so important to understand the different peculiarities, the different aspects, the different difficulties that a business goes through. And that is why this is so important for you to open up your brains, right? This is very small information. What you get in the books is very small information, but it gives you a spark that what you want to study, right? So if you understand, you find something interesting, go on Google, read as much as you. It's free, right? But this thing gives you a spark. It tells you what you're interested in. It helps you understand more, right? So for a chartered accountant, for this particular field of study, why BCK is important? Because chartered accountants can add value in terms of strategic and financial health. I can add value to an organization only when I understand the business, right? If I have no clue what the business is, how the business works, how am I even going to add value to that organization, to my client, or to my business, or to my customers? I cannot, right? So that is why it is so important for you to understand what is business, what is commerce, what is commercial activity, what is economics behind it, what are the different aspects, right? So always keep a learner's hat on, always be ready to learn, and that's why this is important. Okay, and this is something which not only the commerce people should understand, even the science people have to have this. Like I think a lot of people from science background would also want to understand what business is, because at the end of the day, like a scientist doing the research is also selling that particular project, like product or a research material, right? So it is imperative, it is super important for everyone to understand, to read about business and commerce, right? Okay, but where to get that information, where to read more, like how do I understand, where do I read more about the business? Multiple sources. Go to Google, search, go to Quora, read, go to YouTube, watch good videos, right? Like some of the examples are like magazines, like go and read these magazines are free online. Business World, Business India, Business Today, Forbes, The Economist, Economic Times, right? Watch some news channels. I'm not saying this has to be like this is something you should do, but only if you're interested. And once you start watching and reading, I feel this is one of the most interesting things that is happening right now in India for now. Like businesses, how economics is changing, how the world is changing. I think everyone should be interested in this, right? Okay. Now coming to the next topic, we just discussed what business, like why understand business, why study about business. But let me put something in a broader purview. Let me put something in front of you that gives you a view that what actually business is. All right. So a business is nothing but human activity. A business is nothing but a human activity, which is divided into two things. It can either be an economic activity or it can be a non-economic activity, right? A human activity can be either economic or it can be non-economic. Now, this was one of the questions that someone asked, right? Economic and non-economic. Now, what is economic activity? An economic activity is something that is driven by profits. That is something which is there to earn money, right? Which is the motive of that activity is to earn money or something in kind. If not money, something in kind, right? But the essence, but the motive is to earn something. That is economic activity. Non-economic activity is something which is driven by the motive of that particular activity is altruism. What is altruism? Altruism means selflessness. That means that is done without the motive of earning something, right? That is done without any motive. That is done with altruism, with selflessness, right? Zero motives behind that activity. That means it is driven by altruism. So human activity divided into two, economic, non-economic. Economic is where I want to earn something. The motive is to earn something. Where the motive is not to earn something, it is done with altruism, it is done with selflessness. It is called non-economic activity, right? Okay. Super fun game on the screen. You have around say 5, 6, 7, 8 activities in front of you in the table, right? I think this was some problem at your end. Rest everyone is able to hear. If you can just check the speaker, right? So on the screen, we have 8 activities. I want you to define each activity either as an economic or a non-economic activity. For example, I'll just give you an example. Let us say first, A is food stall. A food stall is economic or non-economic? What do you think? A person working in a food stall, a person operating a food stall, would that be for economic purpose or non-economic purpose? That is how I want you to categorize all these 8 activities in the comment section. We will take 1 minute for this, right? It's a long activity. I want you to define each activity either as economic or non-economic. 1 minute on the clock. Please start typing your answers. Meanwhile, I'll answer some of the questions that you are asking. Can I zoom? I don't think I have that option to zoom. I'm really sorry. I will ask someone in the operations team if they can just zoom the screen for this particular activity and then zoom back. Yes, Neha, jargon means a particular language. So bears and bulls. Bears are people who think that the market will fall, who are wanting the market to fall, and your bulls are people who are expecting market to grow, because they are like bull, they are going upward, and bears are like slow, they're punching people down, right? Suprata, I think I gave the answer. Why bulls and bears? I'll give you a super good example. Like when you see a bull, when a bull hits someone, it like it uses its horns to throw someone up, right? And when you see a bear beating someone, a bear takes a person or a other animal and beats it down, right? So that is why bulls and bears. Bulls are someone who bring people down, and bears are someone who take people up. Okay, I see most of you started answering. Wonderful. Keep answering. Food stall, tree plantation driven by college students, sewing factory, langar at a gurdwara, your mother cooking food, rickshaw puller, cement factory, fruits wholesaler. Wonderful, Josh. Thanks for answering. You have given all the options which are economic. Wonderful. I see that. Okay, let me check. Da, 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 da. Seems right to me. Okay, okay. Wonderful. I'm sorry if the screen is not zooming, like some technical thing maybe. Next time I'll try to make this bigger. Okay. Most of you have answered. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay. I see a few wrong answers also. I'm happy that you guys are giving wrong answer. Finally, I'm winning. Because the first 3 questions, you guys took all the answers correct. And I thought I'm giving you easy questions. Okay, wonderful. Let us go to the answers itself. Most of you have answered. All of those who are answering, just focus on what is happening on the screen now. Okay, so a food stall is an economic activity. The motive is to earn money. Tree plantation driven by college students is non-economic. They do not want anything out of it. They do not want money out of it. They do not want to earn something out of it. They're doing it selflessly. They're doing with altruism, right? Sewing factory, again a business, again someone who wants to earn money out of it, economic activity. Langar at Gurdwara, non-economic. Altruism, selflessness, no other motive. There is no motive to earn something. Mother cooking food, she will never ask you for a food. Imagine you sitting in your room, your mom comes with a plate and says, 50 rupees, I've made chapati for you, give me 50 rupees. That is not going to happen ever, right? So that's a non-economic activity. Then you have rickshaw puller, there to earn money. Cement factory, there to earn money. Fruit wholesaler, there to earn money, there to earn living, right? Wonderful. I see a lot of you have answered. You're taking the pain to type the answers. That's wonderful, right? I will make sure the slides are bigger next time, specifically for such activities, right? So be assured I'll do that. Okay, let's go to the next slide altogether. Okay, focus everyone on the screen right now. Please focus on the screen. Come back to the screen. Come back from the comment section to the screen. Okay, we were discussing about human activities, which were divided into two parts: economic, non-economic. Now, let us first talk about economic activities, right? What are the characteristics of economic activities? What is an economic activity? What are the different things that we get out of economic activity? How does economic activity help us, right? First and foremost is economic activities are income generating, right? Economic activities are income generating. They generate income. They help us earn money. They can be monetary, it can be non-monetary. Monetary means you get money for it. Non-monetary is you get some other benefit for it. For example, you worked for someone and you got, instead of money, they offered you a job, right? Even that is economic activity. Or they offered you some other services, right? So that is also economic activity. Not necessarily money, but the motive is some kind of reward, right? Second is economic activities are productive. Very important to understand. Economic activities are productive. That means they produce something. Economic activities produce something, right? They are the supply side of the economy. They are the supply side of the economy. That means they produce, they create supply, right? I want something, an economic activity will only create that in the economy, right? Someone doing an economic activity of creating, let us say, cell phones, right? Xiaomi or Poco or Vivo, they're producing phones. They're doing an economic activity to sell to earn money, but they're producing phones. So that is a productive. They're producing something. They're creating supply of cell phones in the economy, right? Like farming, infrastructure building, someone creating homes, some builder creating flats, handicraft people, information technology services, legal services, teachers, traders, transporters, logistics, hospital, XYZ, etc. Right? They create products and services. They're producing something. So an economic activity is productive, right? Coming to the other side, the economic activities also promote consumption. Like only why is Xiaomi producing 1 lakh phones every single day? Because people are consuming it, because people are wanting those phones. People want to buy those phones. Because there is economic activity, people want to buy stuff. People want to consume products and services, right? So economic activity are productive, and they are also promoting consumption. They're creating a balance, supply side, also the demand side of economy. Only when the people who are creating are able to sell, that is when the economy sustains, right? So an economic activity is productive as well as it is promoting consumption, both supply and demand. Fourth one is economic activities add to savings, investment, and wealth. Why? Because when there is economic activity, there are jobs. People earn money. Someone is spending money. That is the income of someone else, right? You giving money to a shopkeeper, that becomes his income. He buying stuff from a wholesaler becomes wholesaler's income. Wholesaler buying stuff from the producer becomes producer's income. Now, when everyone is generating income, there will be savings, there will be investments, and there will be wealth creation in the economy, in the country, right? So economic activities are also adding to savings, investment, and wealth. Economic activities are income generating, they create supply in the economy, they also promote consumption, they ensure demand in the economy, and they add to savings, investment, and wealth, right? Super easy 4 characteristics of economic activities, right? I'll take 30 seconds and with a quiz, right? That's a break. Any questions you have on this topic, shoot your questions in the comment and focus on the question as well. Economic activities can be divided into which of the following, right? What do you think? What do you think? An economic activity can be divided into which of the following? A business is an economic activity, a profession is an economic activity, employment is an economic activity, or all of these are an economic activity, right? 30 seconds on the clock, questions, doubts, and answers. Okay. If we do for kind, that can consider as kind of NGOs are considered as economic activity. Absolutely yes. NGOs are taking donations, right? The Essence could be selflessness, essence could be altruism. They're doing something good for the society. But if the motive is to earn money, the motive is to earn something in kind, it is an economic activity. As simple as that. You really need to understand what the NGO is doing. Right? Not all NGOs can be termed as economic, but yes, most of them can be termed as economic. But you have to understand what the NGO is doing. Okay, Kandula, langar at Gurdwara is free food that you get in temples, right? I think that's more of a North India thing, but I'll let you. It's more like a free food to God that you offer, and that is offered back to all the disciples or all the people who are visiting that temple, right? Absolutely, Shaunak. I think your mother will be angry if she asks for 50 rupees and you don't give her, right? It's a non-economic activity. She'll tell you, what are you studying on internet? You don't know this is non-economic activity. Wonderful. All of you know everything. Like, I don't know why we're keeping this session, right? All the questions are getting the right answer. So I think all of you are getting 40 out of 40 in BCK for sure. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Wonderful. The correct answer is all of the above, right? The correct answer is all of the above, and I have put a small graph here which says economic activity can be further divided into three things, right? We studied human activity, economic, non-economic. Now, economic activity can be divided into three things: business, profession, employment. Business, profession, employment. All right. Now let us understand business first. What are we going to do now? We understood economic activities. Now we are going to focus on business first. Then we will talk about profession. Then we will talk about employment. So first, let us focus on business. All right. Okay. Now, if I have to understand business first, I need to understand three layers. Right. Three layers, three steps of understanding the business. All right. The first and the outermost layer, the first and the outermost layer is commerce. Is commerce. Commerce? How is commerce the outermost layer? All right, I'll tell you why. Because commerce includes all types of economic activities, right? And the outermost shell, you have commerce, which includes all types of economic activities. Whether it is this or that, or profession, or this, or business, or employment, it is commerce. It is commerce. So, outermost layer is commerce, which includes all economic activities, right? Can I come closer? I dig deeper into that commerce layer, right? Let us imagine this is a huge ball of commerce. I open that ball and I enter. I see the second layer is a specific industry, right? Let us suppose it is clothing industry, it is diamond industry. Someone from Surat or Gujarat would relate diamond industry, right? Or cloth industry, or someone from Maharashtra would like Nagpur orange, like fruit industry, like vegetable industry, right? So when I dig deeper into commerce, I find there are defined areas, there are defined specific industries of business, right? Fruit industry, clothing industry, transportation industry, battery industry, scrap industry, IT companies, startups, mobile manufacturing, mobile repairing, right? They're different industries altogether. Like when I dig deep into commerce, I find different clusters of business industries, right? Then I dig deeper. Let us suppose I choose the retail industry, I choose any XYZ industry, and I dig deeper. I find a lot of people are working in that in their daily occupation. Let us suppose someone in the mobile repair industry. I see a lot of shopkeepers, small and big stores like your Chroma, or big stores like I don't know, maybe a pie or something in South in right. So a lot of stores, a lot of people, a lot of small shopkeepers, a lot of big retailers are working in that mobile repair industry. That is the third layer. That is their daily occupation. That is what they do day in, day out to earn money, because business is an economic activity. Business is an economic activity. So what they're doing on a daily basis to earn money is the innermost, is the third layer of business, right? Three layers: commerce, specific industry, daily occupation that people are doing day in, day out to earn money, because business is an economic activity. Okay, now business, like getting deeper into business, understanding what is business, right? Business comes from the word busy, right? Business comes from the word busy. Busy means being involved, being always active, proactive, involved in something. You're not sitting idle, you're working on something. That is busy. That is where the word business is coming from, right? So a business spectrum has three things. Business spectrum. What is spectrum? Spectrum means the area of business, the subject of business can be broadly divided into three further things. First is production, which is obvious. Someone is producing, someone is distributing that product or good or service, and someone is trading that or exchanging that for money, right? So a business spectrum divided into three things, that is production, that is distribution, and that is trade or exchange, right? To understand business at a broader level, at a broader means at an outside level, an economic activity that comprises of entire spectrum of these three activities. An economic activity which has all these three. An economic activity, understand this carefully. An economic activity which has all these three aspects, which has all these three things involved, is a business. As simple as that. Economic activity means something which is done for money or something done for kind, some reward, right? Which involves production, which involves distribution, and which involves trade or exchange, right? Retailer or trading, right? So production, distribution, and trade of an economic activity is business. As simple as that. That is the broader, that is the outermost level of business, right? Economic activity with all these three things involved is a business. Coming to the next level, this was broader level to understand, okay, what is business, which has production, which has distribution, which has trade. Okay, and it is an economic activity which is done for money, that is business. Perfect. Now, at each level of the above spectrum, let us suppose that production, it has multiple activities. Or at distribution, there are multiple activities. Distribution, you will have truck owners, you have small tempos, you have someone who is who is renting out warehouses, someone who is packaging material, who is producing packaging material, someone who is just packaging. Different business, different activities within distribution itself, right? Broader level, production, distribution, trade. Now I dig deeper, for example, into distribution. Someone is packaging, someone is transporting, someone is using trucks, someone is using tempos. So at the middle level, each of these three aspects, each of these has multiple activities. They're also business. That is also business, right? Everything is business, right? For example, shopkeepers selling online, or cab owners, transporters, hospitals, or small restaurant owners. Everyone at each level is doing business, right? Now, to understand at the lowest level, like I get it, it's an economic activity which has production, which has distribution, which has trade. Understood. Okay, if I dig deeper into, let us suppose, trade or distribution or production, any one of it, I get it. There are multiple activities, different people doing different activities. Understood. But what at the narrowest level? What at the base level? What is business? What is business, right? Business is one's usual occupation of creating, owning, and operating a setup to earn money, right? You own that. The key word is you own that. In employment profession, you don't own that, but in business, you own that particular thing to earn money, right? And the most important thing is it has to be a usual occupation and not just one-time activity, right? You have to do that regularly to be called it as a business. I take a piece of furniture, sell it, earn 500 rupees, and I sit for my entire life. I'm not a businessman, right? I'm not doing business because that was one-time activity. But yes, if I start doing that on a regular basis to generate income, that will become a business. So it has to be usual occupation and not just a one-time activity, right? Okay, let us quickly jump into the next segment, and that is quiz number 5. All right. Okay, I'll also answer questions. Meanwhile, question for you on the screen with 30 seconds on the clock. We can classify all similar businesses. We can classify all similar businesses relating to a particular activity as a what? Will they together be called a business? an industry, company, or an organization. All similar businesses of a particular activity put together will be called a business, an industry, a company, or an organization. Okay, layer three, Pooja, layer three is daily occupation, right? Something that you're doing day in and day out, something that you're doing on a regular basis. A shopkeeper selling and buying on a regular basis, that is the third layer. That is the base level of business, right? Government organizations are performing economic activity, absolutely yes. Even they have shares on the share market. They're doing complete economic activity. Spectrum means different things in of relating to business, right? The spectrum, that is what, like I would say my spectrum has people from finance, from HR. So my spectrum means things that I'm related to. Production for self-consumption is an economic activity. Well, that's a debatable question, but yes, it can be. It can be. But for self-consumption, if you define self-consumption, then not, because it is altruism. You will not get a reward in terms of money or in kind. Wonderful. I got you guys. I am the winner for this question. I see 50% of you answering it wrong. Finally, a tough question, I think. Now we will have to study. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Okay, I see 30% of you have answered it correct, 70% are wrong. I feel very good about it, which is sad, but okay. This is the first lecture. By the 10th lecture, everyone will get all the answers right. Okay, the correct answer, ladies and gentlemen, is industry. The correct answer is industry. Why industry? Because I will give you an example. You must have heard about the banking industry. You must have heard about the real estate industry, insurance industry. Like all the companies, all the organization, all the companies, all the organization, all the businesses in insurance who are working in insurance sector are part of insurance industry, right? So similarly, banking industry, HDFC, PNB, SBI, everyone, all these banks are form a banking industry. All the similar businesses relating to a particular activity are called industry, like banking industry, real estate industry, insurance industry, right? Perfect. A business is something very small. All similar businesses put together is an industry, like banking industry, real estate industry, and insurance industry, for example. Right? Okay. Let us talk about profession. We were studying about human activities, economic activity, non-economic activity. Under economic activity, business, profession, employment. We talked about business. What is business? What are the different layers of business? How to understand business at different levels, right? We did that. Wonderful. But what is profession? The second type of economic activity, which is profession. What is profession? Profession is rendering specialized services, right? I'll come back, Vinny, I'll come back to, let us just focus on the screen right now, right? Rendering specialized services necessitating prescribed qualification and adherence to a code of conduct. I don't understand the definition. All right, I'll make it easy for you. Rendering specialized services, something that is very unique to you, some special services. Rendering means providing. Rendering means providing special services necessitating prescribed qualification. That means only those people who have a prescribed qualification, someone who is certified to provide that particular service, when they provide that specialized service, and they're bound by a code of conduct, right? And they're bound by a code of conduct, like in ICAI, like medical profession, like lawyers. They have to have a code of conduct, right? A lawyer has to wear that black coat, white shirt. That is code of conduct. A CA has to certify with due diligence. They have to be practical. Like chartered accountants are not bloodhounds; they are watchdogs, right? You must have heard that. So they have to keep like in sync with the code of conduct. Everything which needs a specific qualification to provide a special service and adherence to a code of conduct is called a profession, right? As simple as that. For example, accountancy, CAs, lawyers, doctors, architects, and civil engineers, right? One of the top 5 common things that most of us know in profession are CAs, lawyers, architects, doctors, and engineers, right? They have a prescribed qualification, yes. They provide a specialized services, yes. And they have to adhere, they have to follow a code of conduct, yes. They have to. All the 3 things are tick, yes, it's a profession. As simple as that, right? IPS is not a profession. IPS is government service, right? Wonderful. If you're aiming for it, wonderful. Okay, coming to the third economic activity, which is employment. We talked about business, we talked about profession. Now let us talk about employment. What is employment? Okay, employment is nothing but working under contract. Like, do I even have to explain what is employment? Working under a contract of service between an employer and an employee as per job description with a fixed periodic compensation requiring minimum qualification. As simple as that. Job. You are into a job, you are employed, that is employment. There is a contract of service, there is a contract of employment, there is a job description that you will only do this thing, right? There is a specified set of things that you are hired for, that your job requires you to do. You do that, and you get a fixed periodic compensation. You get a salary, fixed periodic compensation. At every beginning of the month you get a salary, right? Fixed amount, you get that in your bank. And but it requires a minimum qualification, right? Like, you have to be a graduate for a particular job, you have to be a chartered accountant for a job, you have to be an MBA for a job, you have to be a doctor, you have to be this, so you should have that degree, a CFA or a CPA, right? So people employed in various companies at different levels of corporate hierarchy are part of employment. Human activity, economic, non-economic, economic activity, business, profession, employment. Simple, simple chart, right? Okay, before I go to this table, I'll take 20 seconds for any of the doubts that you guys have, right? We'll take 20, 30 seconds. Anything that is not clear, any word that is not clear, any concept that is not clear, we'll talk the difference between state. I didn't get your question, Prashant. Difference between state. Textile industry would come under this category. Absolutely, yes. Adherence means you have to follow that. You have to adhere to traffic rules. When you're riding a scooty, you have to wear a helmet because you have to adhere to traffic rules. You have to follow traffic rules, right? IPS is not a profession. IPS is more like an employment, I would say. It's an employment by of Government of India. You're an employee of Government of India. Okay. How is saving, investment, and wealth characterized as economic activity? Because when there is economic activity, only then people generate income. When you generate income, you save that money, you invest that money, and you grow that money into your wealth, right? That is why, because there is economic activity, there is saving, there is investment, and there is wealth. That is why they are part of economic activities characteristics. Okay. Doctor working in government hospital at free of cost is an economic activity. If he is working free of cost, you can term it as a non-economic activity because there is no reward that he's seeking, right? It is selflessness. He's doing it with altruism, without any greed or without any demand or a reward, right? So layer 3 is similar to narrow business. Absolutely, yes, you're on the right track. That is the same thing. IPOS. No, IPOS, we were talking about Indian Police Services. I think that is where you got confused, Rajwala. We were talking about Indian Police Services, your civil servants. Right? Okay, Parth Sarthi, wonderful question. What is entrepreneur, right? I would really want you to go and Google after this session, right? You will understand what an entrepreneur is. In brief, entrepreneur is someone who is doing a business, who is starting a business. Okay. Profession is chartered accountants, lawyers, doctors. Everyone is a profession who has a certificate, who has a professional certificate, who has to follow a code of conduct, and they're providing the special services. They are called profession. They are called being a professional. They are into profession as an economic activity. Livelihood is nothing but something you do for living, right? My livelihood is like working in a job. That is my livelihood. If I'm a painter, painting is my livelihood. That is what I do for living, right? Okay, let us come back to the screen. Let us come back to focus on the PPT that is on your screens, which says, which gives me difference between a business, a profession, and employment, which is giving me simple differences between a business, a profession, and employment. How are the three different from each other? All of these three are economic activity, correct? I think most of you agree that business, profession, and employment are all economic activities, right? I'll come to all the questions. We'll take a 15 minutes at the end of the session. We'll discuss all the questions, all the doubts, everything, right? Focus on the PPT right now. Business, profession, and employment. All three are economic activities, but how are they different? How are they different? First thing is we understood the meaning. Business is the entire spectrum of production, distribution, trade and exchange. All of these involved to create a business. Profession, we just understood with the question as well. Someone with a we can say a professional degree, following a code of conduct and having and giving out special services is a professional, right? Employment, someone in a job getting a salary is employment, correct? Mode of establishment, right? In professions, you are a member of a professional body, like you will become a member of ICAI. Doctors are a member of Medical Association of India. Lawyers are member of Bar Council, right? So there is a membership in profession. In employment, you are part of that organization. There is a letter of appointment, there is a letter of service that you get, right? In business, you are entrepreneur's decision and other legal formalities if necessary, right? We will discuss this in brief. Point number 2 for business is the next topic. We will discuss this in brief, so hold on to that. Source of livelihood. What do you do? Why do you do this business? Right now, I get your question. Why do you do this business? Right. For students, livelihood is studying. Absolutely correct. For a business, it is profits. For a profession, it is their professional fee that they charge. For employment, it is their salary. Right. That is their livelihood. That is why they're doing that particular thing. Right. Prescribed qualification for a business, you don't need any qualifications, right? For a business, you just need an idea. You need the confidence, you need the gut power, and you can be one of the biggest business people in India, in world, right? And it's a wonderful thing if you're thinking for it. Second is profession, strictly prescribed, right? The qualification that you need to be a professional is strictly prescribed. For a CA, you have to clear the exam. To become a lawyer, you have to clear a particular exam. To become a doctor, you have to clear that particular set of exams. There is strictly prescribed qualification to be a professional. For employment, it is as per the job. If someone who wants a graduate will go for a graduate job, someone who becomes a chartered accountant goes for jobs which are defined for chartered accountants. Someone who is doing an MBA will go for jobs which are defined for MBAs, right? Coming to ethical guidance, it is based on what the business person needs or wants, right? Ethical guidance is what the founders want, the person who is the founder, right? He or she who are building a business, what are their values? What are the principles they go by? How ethical they are, what they want from the business, they define themselves. In profession, the professional codes are well defined. Like ICAI defines that this is what you can do, this is what you cannot do as a chartered accountant. In employment, company decides what you can do, what you cannot do, right? Investment, you require a lot of investment in business. In professional, you require little bit, like as relative to business, you require less investment. But in employment, you require no investment. We are not counting your tuition fee here. So that is why it is none. Okay, coming to personal autonomy or freedom. You are the boss. In business, you are the boss. You define what is to be done when. In professional fees, quite a bit. You can decide what is to be done when, but it really depends on your client, right? It really depends what your client wants at that particular point. In employment, you cannot define what you want to do. Every your time will psychological motive. Why people do business? Because to achieve economic achievement. Sky is the limit. Popular psychological motive means why do people do business? Why do people do professional course? Why do people go for a job? Because in business you have economic achievement. In professional you have quite a bit. You have service to the clients in society. Someone wants to service clients. Someone wants to service the society, wants to be part of that elite profession. And most of the people are doing job for livelihood, to sustain themselves, to be able to like provide food and shelter for their family, right? Certainty of income, like very less. It is business means risk. So the certainty, the assurance of getting money, profits is very low. In profession, it is quite a bit. Like even if the worst case scenario, you will earn some money, right? It cannot be zero. And in employment, like you will get a fixed salary. So every first of the month or third of the month, you will get your salary. So there is certainty of income. Stability of tenure, right? So it is uncertain. No one knows how far a business will go. No one understands how big the business will be or for how much time the business will sustain. So it is uncertain. In profession, it is still certain. Like as far as government wants compliance, as far as people want medicine, it is there. It is going to be there. Profession is going to be there. Job, it is quite certain because the company has employees, unless something like COVID comes where it becomes tough. But certainly, it is quite certain in comparison to business and profession, right? Transfer of interest or succession. In business, it is possible. A father, a mother can pass on their business to their daughter or their son, right? In profession, it is not possible, right? They can help give them clients, but it is quite difficult. Like I wouldn't say very much impossible, but it's quite difficult because the rapport with the client of a parent is much different than than the kids, right? So in business it is quite possible. In profession it is comparatively difficult, but in employment it is not possible at all, right? You cannot say, like your father cannot say that I'm working for, let us suppose, XYZ company, and then they say, all right, from tomorrow, my daughter is going to come into office and work for me, or my son is going to come into the office and work for me. That cannot happen, right? So in employment, the transfer of interest or succession is not present, right? So 11 points of distinguishing your business, profession, and employment. All of these three are economic activities, but they're different. For each of them, there are different aspects in relation to mode of establishment, the motive behind it, the certainty of income, transfer of interest. Then you have popular psychological motives, etc., etc. 11 points, right? Question on the screen with doubts in the comment section, right? Let us take 2 full minutes of discussing what we have just taken loads of information in the last 1 hour. What is business, economic activity, profession, employment, what is bulls wheels, what is this, what is market, what is trading, what is entrepreneur. We have understood a lot of new things, right? Take time of 2 minutes, ask any doubts you have, ask questions, we will solve that. And meanwhile, for all those who have understood, question is on the screen. Oh, all right, I have an answer from Ritesh already. Super fast, Ritesh. Okay, quiz number 6 is, which of the following economic activities has the highest certainty of income? We just understood certainty of income, right? Which of the following economic activities has the highest certainty of income? Is it profession, employment, business, or all of them? Okay, wonderful. Dashmi, I will leave that question because you will study that in audit, right? And if you're interested, you can go and search the entire statement on Google. You will understand it's a very beautiful concept that is given in chartered accountancy, that CAs are watchdogs and not bloodhounds, right? That shall always remain with you till the time you are a chartered accountant. Okay. Absolutely, Yoga. We are on a 2 minute break already. If you want to take 2 minutes break, you can. The question is on the screen. Okay, who is the promoter of the business? See, promoter is someone who starts that business, who someone who promotes that business, who infuses capital, who spends money, who invests money to start that business is a promoter. Government doctors can be professional or employment, both. Like if they're working in a government hospital for a salary, they are employed. If they're working in their clinic in the evening, they are professional. Entrepreneur is the owner of the business. Yes, one side of it. Yes. Business spectrum, Archana, is basically all of the three kind of things that are involved in business, if you can understand it that way. Production, distribution, and exchange and trade, right? All of these three are together forming business. So a business spectrum, that means the division of business is into production, distribution, and trade, right? Okay, IPO means initial public offer, that is correct. Okay, wonderful. Answers already on the screen. That is so good. Thank you for everyone who is answering. Thank you so much for being attentive. For all those who are not answering, please start answering. It will benefit you. I can guarantee you it will benefit you 1000 times during your exam, because you get a touch and feel of how the question is going to be, what you are expected to do. You will not go into the exam hall clueless if you solve questions here itself. Stability of tenure means how long will that sustain? A business can go bankrupt tomorrow itself, while your job might last for 6 7 months, if like, or years, if there is no problem, right? And that is what we're talking about when we're talking about stability of tenure, how certain it is to continue ahead, right? If a doctor sets up his own business, would that be called a business or a profession? Okay, that I think that will call I will call it as a business, right? He is a professional, or he or she is a professional, but they're doing business. Okay, profession can start the business simultaneously. Absolutely, absolutely, yes. Entrepreneurs can be called promoters. There's a very fine definition of entrepreneurs and promoters, that they can be the same thing, right? For example, I give you for let us say your father is your father, but he's also an employee of a company, right? So same person can be two things. Similarly, same person can be an entrepreneur and also a promoter. So two different things, but the same person can be both. PPT is available to you. It is uploaded online. Correct. SEBI is also considered as a watchdog, and chartered accountants are also considered as a watchdog. Kushu, wonderful question. Like, I think a lot of you are getting this question. What is the difference between entrepreneur and promoter? I would really want to park this question, right? What we'll do is I'll write it down somewhere. I've already written it though. Let us park this question in the next session, right? I think that is on Friday. On Friday, we will see if you can find this answer. I would really want you to go search and find an answer to this, because that will open up a new world of knowledge for you when you go and understand. You go and read, you'll find new things as well. Me giving out information will be very easy, but I will absolutely give you an information, but in next session, right? Okay, let us come back to the PPT and the answer, which is employment, right? The highest certainty of income is in employment. All of you got it correct. Most of you, I think, yes, 100%. Okay, okay. Most of you got it correct. That highest certainty of income, that means the maximum probability that whatever may happen, you will get your money, is what we are talking about here. Whatever may happen, you will get your money. That only happens in employment, because you will get that salary anyway. Whether the company makes profit or not, you will get your salary, right? Okay. Next question. Is it fairly easy to transfer the interest or succession of a profession? Is it easy to transfer interest or succession of a profession? True or false? Amit, we haven't come to that topic, integrity and ethics. We'll talk about that. Lawyer under practice is an employee. No, he's a professional. He's not an employee because employee is for an organization. He is practicing on his own. Okay. 15 seconds on the clock. I think this is an easy question. Perfect. Okay, the correct answer is false. Like, it is not easy to transfer interest and succession of a profession. It is not easy at all, right? Okay, let us come back to understanding business because this entire subject is about business and commercial knowledge. We talked about economic activities, we talked about human activities, coming to economic activities, talking about what is business, talking about what is profession, talking about what is employment. Now let us dive deeper into business itself, right? The focus of this entire paper is understanding business. So let us understand what are the characteristics of business, right? First one is it creates jobs. Simple. Business creates jobs. Second, it adds value to the GDP, that is gross domestic product. That is the economy as a whole. It adds value to GDP, right? It creates jobs, it adds value to GDP. They are investment intensive. That means they require a lot of money to be invested, right? A lot of money is invested in businesses. Third is it demands time to flourish. You need patience, you need time to build a business, right? And the success is uncertain. They are super risky. Business is very risky, requires a lot of money and requires a lot of time, right? Businesses are systematic and organized. Business has to have a system. Like, this is what you do: first production, distribution, and then only trade. I don't think someone can just produce and trade. They have to distribute it to shopkeepers only, then you can sell, right? So it has to be systematic and organized. And it is driven by profit. Because it is economic activity, it has to be driven by profit. If it is not driven by profit, it is not a business. If you're doing a business not for profit, then you're not doing a business, right? So characteristics of business are: it creates jobs, it adds value to GDP, it is investment intensive, it demands time, the success is uncertain, it is systematic and organized, and it is driven by profit, right? A question to all of you. We just talked about business. We just talked about business wanting to be done for profit. We understood that business is done for profit. It is intensive, it is investment, a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of resources go into business. But will it be okay? But will it be okay if a business are only concerned about profits at the cost of an environment? And the recent case of manipulation of personal data over the internet. What do you think? Like, will it be okay if the business are only concerned with profit and they do not care about the environment or the personal data that we are sharing with the businesses? Will it be okay? Yes or no? Prashant, because profession is also more like a business thing, right? Getting clients is not easy, and that is why it is the certainty is less than employment. But the question right now on the screen, Prashant, is will it be okay if the businesses are only concerned about profits and not about environment and your personal data? Yes or no? Right, right. A lot of you are saying that it is not okay, right? And absolutely, it is not okay if your business is only concerned about profits and not about the environment or your personal data. They have to take care of all those things as well. Profit is a motive, but it is not the only motive. Like, understand this carefully. Profit is a core motive, it is an important motive of a business, but it is not the only motive of the business, right? And for that there is a concept called sustainable objectives of business. For this very reason, there is a concept of sustainable objectives of business, right? Profitability, people well-being, and planet sustainability. Profitability, you have to earn profit. People well-being, you have to take care of the people of the society. And you also have to take care of the planet Earth, of the environment, of nature, right? Sustainable objectives of the business are profitability, people well-being, and planet sustainability, right? But why should a business be concerned about people and environment? The question is, why should a business even be concerned about people and an environment? Because first, it is interdependent. That means it is getting resources from the society, right? People working in an organization are part of the society. So they are working for the company, working for the business. So the business is dependent on those people. So it should take care of those people, right? Multiple stakeholders, they're investors, they're vendors, employees, customers, people well-being. All these are different small producers, small retailers, small shopkeepers. You have to take care of all of these, right? Multiple stakeholders, multiple people who are interested, who are connected with your business, right? Profit is the minimum concept. You need to earn profit, but that should not be the only motive. You need to earn profit, but that should not be the only motive, right? Customers are to be kept at the center, right? Business does not have to think about itself, it has to think about the customer. Let that sink in your the minds, right? A business should not think about itself, it should think about its customers. Customers are at the center of the business. Only then will a business be sustainable. Sustainable means will be able to go for a long term, will be able to sustain for a longer period, right? Performance is precursor to profits. That means only when you perform good, you will have profits. Precursor means it is dependent. Profit is dependent on performance, right? Precursor, it is needed before. Profit will only happen when you perform well, right? So this is why the company has to be sustainable. There has to be profitability, there has to be people well-being, and there has to be planet sustainability. That is, take care of planet Earth, right? Now, some examples, like I'll give you some examples of some of the organizations which are doing this, some of the organizations which are doing for planet, some of the organizations which are doing for the society as a whole. For example, your ITC, like it is the greenest hotel chain in the world. They produce the least amount of waste. ITC hotels produce the least amount of waste, right? Lemon Tree hotels are providing gainful employment to persons with disability. If you happen to go to a lemon tree hotel or somewhere, you will find a lot of disabled people being employed there, either at receptions or within kitchens. They're giving employment to those people. This is how they're sustaining, this is how they're adding value to the society, right? Hindustan Unilever's Project Shakti for employment of rural women, like a lot of small product packing. I have read about this. Hindustan Unilever's packing is done by a lot of rural women. Right? They're giving them employment, they're giving them financial independence, they're giving them financial literacy. That is how we're adding value back to the society, right? That is what the sustainable objective of the business is, right? Stakeholders means people who are interested or connected with your business. Stakeholders are different people who are connected with your business. Like for a business, a vendor, a purchaser, I can say, like, give you an example, employees, customers, all these are your stakeholders. All these people are connected with your business, right? Okay. The final leg of this chapter, and before that I will take another 2 minutes. I think I can take 2 minutes of any doubts, of any questions that you have in your mind, that are like you're confused about any concept. We will take 2 minutes of that, and then we will go into this final leg, which is forms of business organization, right? Any doubts, any thoughts, anything that you want to ask, let us take 120 seconds and discuss that. And meanwhile, I would really suggest all of you to drink some water, right? Take a water break of 2 minutes, because you really need to drink a lot of water. Okay. I think I explained stakeholders. Yes. If only profit is the motive, the society will get harmed. Absolutely. Yes. Right. Mm-hmm. Like WhatsApp private policy. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. You got it right. It is not okay for business to have to look after the environment also. Veni, I think you wanting to say that should look after the environment, right? Okay. Any questions? Did I miss? If you think I'm missing any questions, please retype because I have a lot of uh, questions going on. If I miss something, just ask that again. Okay. Sustainable objectives and social objective mean the same, sir? Kind of yes, kind of yes. But social objective is only, I'll give you, okay, good thing. Social objective is only people well-being, while a sustainable objective will have all the three, right? Social objective will only be people well-being, while a sustainable objective will be all three, even environment, even planet, people, and profitability. That is sustainable objective. Social objective is only people well-being, like giving employment to disabled people or empowering rural women, right? Uh, Confusing topic sustainable. See, I'll give you simple example. Sustainable means it can go for a longer period. It can be sustained for a longer period. If it has to sustain it, if it has to stay in the society, if a business has to stay in operation, it should also take care of environment and the people who are connected to it. As simple as that. That is the only concept what we're talking about, sustainable objectives. If it has to go, if it is to operate in a longer term for 20, 30, 50, 100 years, it has to take care of the people, of the environment while making profits. Okay, CA starting his own business will be considered as business or profession. It will be considered as a business. If they're doing some business, it is business. Sure, Harshu, we will have a revision session. I like this will be there. I think this will be, you can go back and watch this after live session. If something that is you are not clear about, you can drop a mail or in the next session, if you still find any doubts, we will solve all your questions, right? If the entire topic is not clear, I would really suggest when this session ends, you can go back to the recorded session and look after it. If still not clear, next session, do ping me. I'll be happy to explain it. Okay, good question from Rai. He say, if wine shop does not have social responsibility, they do, but they are the sin business, right? That's a good thing. If you want to read more about it, write it down somewhere. Read about sin businesses. All right. There's a concept called sin business, sin business. That will answer your question. Performance is precursor to profit means only when you perform good, you will earn profits, right? Your performance is not just about your profit making, it is also about taking care of the environment. That is your overall performance, right? As a human itself, like your performance as a human is not just you succeed in life, you make money, but you're also a good human. You also take care of your parents, of your friends, of people around you, of the nature around you. Your overall performance, right, will be judged by all the three things. So profit is a part. It is important to make profits, but performance of all these three things is imperative. Sure, I'll give you some study tip. I have that in mind. Okay, I'll come to that. Amit, legal, ethical, environment objective is. We'll come to that. I think in further chapters we have that in depth, right? So that will explain everything to you. Last two questions I'll take. If I miss anything, you can comment back again. Then we'll focus on the PPT. Okay, CAG of India can be categorized in professional or employee. Nothing. CAG is an organization, right? It is a government organization. It is neither an employment and it is neither professional. It is an organization. Okay. See, ethical objective, I think few of you are also asking again, I'll tell you. So ethical means being right? Ethical means being right, being the correct one, doing things which are right for everyone. That is called being ethical. I'll give you an example. So if I tell you, if you want to earn money, go and steal someone's wallet. Is that ethical? Is that right? No, that is not right. So the ethical objective of a business is to do the right thing, do it within the law, within the compliance, within the legal structure. That is what the legal and ethical objective of a business is, right? That is what a business needs to do. That is what is expected from a business, right? Okay, got it. It's not sim, it's sin, S-I-N, sin business. Okay, let's go back to the PPT and then we'll take up some more questions. We were talking about business. We understood what is business. We talked about the sustainable objectives of business. Now let us talk about forms of business organizations, right? Let us talk about forms of business organizations. Like there are 5 forms of business organizations. The first one is sole proprietorship. The second is Hindu undivided family. The third one is partnership. The fourth one is limited liability partnership. And the fifth one is company. All right, what are we talking about? If someone wants to start a business, they can have these 5 options to form a business. It can either be a sole proprietorship, right? It can either be a Hindu undivided family. It can either be a partnership. It can be a limited liability partnership, or they can form a company, right? Okay, going to the first one. What is sole proprietorship? I want you to understand what is sole proprietorship. A sole proprietorship, sole means single. Sole means single. Proprietor means owner. Sole means single. Proprietor means owner. Okay, a general store, a small online seller, a weekly bazaar shop, or a trader or an agent, right? One person setup. Sole proprietorship, one owner only. One person setup, autonomy. They are one's own boss, right? Small shopkeeper is a sole proprietor, right? Small scale. The operations are not very huge. It is a small scale business. It is most abundant in India. It is most abundant means 99% of the people are sole proprietorship. Like I'm giving a random percentage, but it is the most widely used or accepted form of business in India. It is the most abundant in India. Its contribution to the GDP and the export is very strong, right? Because most of the people are into sole proprietorship. They are one person setup, single person owning a business and doing an economic activity, single person handedly keeping 1 or 2 people, or maximum 3 or 4 people in the shop or in a business, in a small cafe or something, right? And they're contributing maximum to the GDP, to the economy. Easy succession of business because it's a small business. Giving it to the next to the next heir, right? It's easy. So easy succession of business. Then you have product quality, not to global standards. What I've done is in the PPT is the green part are the positives and the red highlighted are the negatives. All right. So the green ones are the positives of sole proprietorship. Why is it good? Red ones is why is it not so good? Right. So we talked why is it good because one is owns boss. He can take decision. He or she can take decision on their own. It is more customer approachable because it's a small business. It is most abundant in India. Contribution to GDP is strong because you have autonomy. You can make decisions quick, right? And the succession of the business is also easy, right? But the downside of a sole proprietorship is the product quality is not as per global standards because your operations are not that huge. It is unorganized and informal. There's scarcity of capital. The money is not that much, right? Unlimited liability of the owner. It's very risky. It's very risky. The lack of employment welfare, like employee welfare, sorry. So like you would see small shopkeepers having 2 or 3 people working in the shops. Like they do not care much about their welfare, right? It's just that take that money and work for me. There are no labor laws. There is no free time. There is no vacation time like that. So there is a lack of employee welfare. Welfare means benefits. Like the employees or people working in with a sole proprietor do not have much benefits. It is uncertain as linked to owner's well-being. Like, let us suppose there's a shopkeeper with 3 people in the business, right? Now, if something happens to that shopkeeper, the business falls. Like, it's so uncertain because it is linked to the owner's well-being, to the owner's health, to the owner's medical condition, right? If something happens to them, the business flops. Okay. Before I come to the next one, I have a quiz here. Okay, everyone on the screen, please. 30 seconds. Why do all the risk of the sole proprietor accrue to the owner? Why do you think? Why do you think that all the risk of sole proprietorship accrue to the owner? That means falls on the owner. Why are all the risks of a sole proprietorship accrued to the owner? Options are on the screen. 30 seconds. It's a tough one, I know. Let us see who can answer it right. Okay, I think that's a tough one. Not many of you are answering. Okay, okay. Okay, I'm waiting for some answers. Wonderful. Okay, I have a lot of answers now. Good, 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 good. Wonderful. The correct answer is option number A because all the profits also accrue to them. In a sole proprietorship, if all the profits are mine, all the risks are also mine, right? So that is why all the risk of the sole proprietorship accrue to the owner because all the profits also accrue to them, right? Okay. The second form of business we're talking about Hindu undivided family. Hindu undivided family is a form of business, right? But the trick here is it includes Buddhist, Jain, and Sikh families too. Right? This is a trick that you have to remember this. The definition of Hindu includes Buddhist, Jain, and Sikh families too, right? So similar to a sole proprietorship, but it is automatically formed based on Hindu ancestry. That means if there is a joint family, if there is a Hindu joint family, it automatically becomes a Hindu undivided family, right? It is formed in a joint family setup only where members are married. Marriage is super important to define your status in Hindu undivided family. Okay? Marriage is a defining factor to call it HUF. The capital is huge as multiple members pooling funds because a lot of members are together coming together of the family and pooling in money into business. So the capital is huge. There's a lot of money in that. There is quick decision making. There is quick decision making because the head of the family who is called the Karta, the head of the family who is called Karta takes all the decisions, right? That is why there are quick decision making because only one person has to take decisions. So all the decisions are very quick because the head of the family, the Karta, takes all the decisions. It has a separate legal status in the Income Tax Act. All the people of Hindu undivided family, all the members of a Hindu undivided family are separate from Hindu undivided family, which has a separate legal status under Income Tax Act, right? Which has a separate legal status under Income Tax Act. These are the good sides. These are the good things about it. What are the bad things about it? The automatic co-owners by birth, right? Members are called co-parceners. If someone like let us suppose there are three brothers, one has one kid, one has four kids, one has seven kids. Now the division becomes so huge that that single person only gets 1/13th, right, or 1/15th of a portion of the entire business. So because automatically people become co-owners by birth, and the co-owners are called co-parceners. That is the downside of this Hindu undivided family. Unlimited liability of the karta. Unlimited liability of the karta means if the business fails, if the business goes bankrupt, the money of the karta, the personal money of the karta will also be utilized to pay out all the loans and debts, right? It is difficult to sustain in changing family dynamics. It is very difficult because now you see a lot of dynamics in modern society. The family structure is changing, so it is very difficult to sustain such a business. Succession is a legal trouble because everyone is a co-owner. How much does one get is very difficult to define. They are co-owners, but they are not equal owners, right? So succession is a legal trouble. They are co-owners, but they are not generally equal owners. So when you succeed, when the karta dies, it becomes a legal trouble for people to divide that business, right? Correct. HUF is like Reliance company. No, that is wrong example. I'll come to that as well. Okay. Question on the screen, everybody. Which act governs the Hindu undivided form of business? Take a guess, or if you know, give me the correct answer. Which act governs the Hindu undivided family form of business? Like if there's a Hindu undivided family business, which act is applicable to them? Okay. Okay. I see a lot of answers. The correct answer is Hindu Succession Act 1956. Hindu undivided family form of business is taken care of, has to follow Hindu Succession Act of 1956. All right. So Hindu undivided family form of business works under Hindu Succession Act 1956. All right. Coming to the third form of business, which is partnership, which is, I think most of us know what a partnership is, right? It is a contractual co-ownership between two or more people. It is contractual co-ownership between two or more people. Contractual, there is a contract of co-ownership between two or more people. It is partnership. So green and red, what are the good things? Contractual agreement, capital infusion from all the partners, a good amount of capital, profit as well, risk is shared. If you have profit, it is shared. If you have a loss, it is shared. Can be found by any form, for any form of economic activity, even if you're going for a profession, even if you're going for a business, even if you have working in an organization, which can be a partnership, right? So it can be used for any kind of economic activity. What are the downsides? What are the bad parts? What are the not so good parts of partnership? Unlimited liability of partners. Like if the business goes flop, the personal money of partners will also be used to pay out loans and debt. Slow decision making due to mutual agency. Slow decision making because you have to consult all the partners, you have to talk to all the partners, so there is slow decision making. Fate of business depends on personal well-being of the partners, right? If someone falls sick, like it might hamper, it might affect the business. So the fate of the business depends on personal well-being of the partners. And succession is not easy. Like whose like kids would get the business, which partners kids will get how much business, that becomes a trouble, right? So succession is not easy. Succession is not easy in a partnership, right? Why unlimited liability comes under disadvantages? Because as a business person, as an economic person, we are talking about business organizations, right? For a business to have an unlimited liability, it is a downside. Like I am doing a business, if that business flops, like my personal money should remain safe, right? My business is different from me. I earn from that business, but my business is different from me. So having an unlimited liability, if my personal money is being used to pay off my business, then it is a disadvantage for me, right? That is why we take it as a disadvantage. Okay, question on the screen. What is the upper limit on the number of partners in a partnership? What do you think? What is the upper limit? What is the maximum number of partners that can be there in a partnership? What is the maximum number of partners in a partnership? And there are two kinds of answers if you look at the options. Okay. A contract is not necessary, but what do we say is the deed is like there is a partnership deed anyway, right? There is a contract that this is how much you will earn, this is how much profit will be mine. It doesn't have to be necessarily in the court. I get your point, but still there is a contractual form. There's an agreement, right? There's a partnership agreement. So that is what we are talking about. Difference between Hindu undivided and succession, that is not part of the syllabus, so you do not have to focus more on that. If you want to study, Google is there, but I would really suggest that is not something part of this particular discussion right now. All right, the correct answer is 10 for banking and 20 for other firms. Is that right? Or am I wrong? Am I right or am I wrong? All right, 10 for banking and 20 for other firms. That is correct. Okay. Let us go to the next. We were just talking about partnerships. Someone asked the question, why is unlimited liability a disadvantage? I answered that to tackle that problem. To tackle that problem of unlimited liability, there was a concept of limited liability partnership brought, right? So there was a concept of limited liability partnership that was brought into action. And what is the advantage and what is the disadvantage? What is limited liability partnership, right? Mandatory registration under limited liability partnership. If someone wants to be registered as a limited liability partnership, that I and you and me and 3 4 people are there in a partnership, but our liability is limited to the resources of the business, my personal money remains safe. I have to be registered under Limited Liability Partnership Act 2009. Designated partners in separate legal entity. The partners are well defined in the agreement, in the registration form. Partners are well defined and they have a separate legal entity. The LLP is a separate legal entity, right? It is separate from the person. That is why your liability becomes limited, right? It's a hybrid form of business. Hybrid means it is mix of two or three. Hybrid form means mix of two or three. So both features of corporate form and proprietary form are there in LLP. Corporate form and proprietary form. Perpetual succession. That means it keeps on like least risk of going concern. It keeps on going. It keeps on going because your partners can change. Your partners come in. Your partners can go out. Easy flow in of partners. Easy flow out of partners. Right. So perpetual succession means continuous succession. There is no upper limit on the number of partners. There is no upper limit on the number of partners, right? All partners act as agents of the LLP. All partners act as agents of the LLP, and the limited liability is separate. The liability is limited to the resources of the partnership. Personal money of the partners is safe and sound. But what is the downside? Everything is good about it. Everything is good about it. But what is bad? That a load of compliance to follow under the LLP Act. You have to file this form, you have to file that form, you have to file this paper, you have to file that report, you have to file this report, you have to get all those designations, signatures, all those paperwork, all those digital forms. So there's a load of compliance to follow for an LLP. And that is the biggest downside. but it's a very good form of business because the liability is limited. It is a hybrid form. It can work as a company while being a partnership. It can work as a proprietary firm while being a partnership, right? The liability is limited. Succession can keep on going and going, right? Right. So there's a confusion between the year act, but I think it was like passed in 2008 and was enacted in 2009. So that is where the confusion keeps going, right? Okay. Question. We just understood about LLP. We just talked about LLP, limited liability partnership. As the name suggests, limited liability partnership. Question to you. Which apex body of regulation oversees the governance of LLP? Which apex means topmost body? Which apex body of regulation oversees the governance of LLP? We'll do this quickly. I think we will be short on time then. 10 seconds on the clock. I have 10 answers already. Wonderful. Waiting for others. Okay, okay. The correct answer, ladies and gentlemen, is Ministry of Corporate Affairs, right? Ministry of Corporate Affairs oversees the governance of LLP or LLP Act, like we talked about. Limited Liability Partnership, the topmost body who is looking after this act is Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Okay. Right. Let us talk about company form of business, right? A body corporate formed under Companies Act. A body corporate which is formed under Companies Act is a company. As simple as that. A sole proprietorship, if gets registered under Companies Act, it becomes a company. A partnership gets registered under Companies Act, it becomes a company, right? It is the flag bearer of entrepreneurship in India. Like every new business, entrepreneurship here means, like we're talking about entrepreneurs means everyone who is starting a new business opts for company. Like most of the people who are starting new business opt to become a company. Why? Because there is limited liability. Money of the entrepreneur, money of the person who is starting the company remains safe. It is separate from the person who is starting. It is separate from the person who owns the business, right? Separate ownership from management. Your CEO, your CFO, your management team, your sales team, your this, everyone is different from the company. Company is a separate entity altogether, right? It has strong legal compliances like article of association, you have memorandum of association, you have meeting details, you have annual filings with ROC. There are a lot of paperwork that goes in that, and that makes you very strong. All this helps you get easy loans from the bank. All of these things, because you are strong, you're systematic, you are organized, and you are registered under Companies Act. It is very easy to get money from banks. It is very easy to raise money from the market, right? That is why most of the people who start business want to become a company, want to start it in the form of a company, right? Then I'm sorry, and then getting books of accounts audited by professional, because your books of accounts of a company are audited by chartered accountants or by auditors. It becomes credible. It means it gives confidence to banks, it gives confidence to the market that they are doing the right thing and we can give them money, they will repay it back, right? So because of all of this, this is one of the most favored form of business for new people, or even the existing form of business. They are company, right? That is why the Companies Act is such huge thing in India and apparently all over the world. But company also has two parts. A company form of business also has two parts. There's a private company and there's a public company, right? There's a private company and there's a public company. What is a private company and what is a public company? The, like private company is something which is owned by a handful of people, right? Their ownership is within the hands of some few people, right? The maximum number can be 200, minimum only two people. For a private company, maximum 200, right? The restriction of transfer of shares. They cannot share their ownership with more people. It is a private affair. It is a small knit for a group of people who are owning a company. That is a private company. When a company goes public, when the company has shares, right? When a company has a lot of people, not just shares, but they have a lot of people who are investing money in the company, it becomes a public company. For a public company, the minimum number is 7 and the maximum number, there is no limit, right? So the basic differences between a private company and a public company is when a small knit small group of people own a company, it is a private company. But when it is open to public, anyone can come and be an owner in the company by buying shares of that company, right? It becomes a public company. If I want to buy a share of a company, I buy a share of ownership. When I'm buying a share, I'm buying a share in ownership. So if I'm buying a share in ownership, I become an owner of the company. And because anyone like me who is a public can become an owner, a part owner of the company, it becomes a public company, right? Okay. Other things I think you can go through the table in the book itself. Let us quickly jump into some of the most interesting new concepts in the company form of business, right? Some of the most interesting new concepts in company form of business is one person company, small company, and dormant company. Okay, three new concepts in company form of business. A one person company. So, one person company was introduced to increase the credibility of sole proprietors in India. Like we were talking about a sole proprietorship, single person having a small business, keeping 3, 4 people, doing his cafe, or having a small shop, or having a retail business, or having a small manufacturing unit, right? But if that person also wants to become a company, why would he want to become a company? Because separate legal status, limited liability, right? Then they get easy credit from the bank, easy money, easy loan from the bank. That is why he would also want to become a company. Now, for him to become a company, he wouldn't want to go for huge numbers, right? So this new concept of one person company was introduced, right? Introduced to increase the credibility of sole proprietors in India. That even the sole proprietor can become a one person company and get his books and can get credibility in the market, easy loans from the bank, because they also become a company. When they become a company, they also have to file quarterly or half yearly. They will file their financials with the like your ROC, right? That is why they become credibility. There becomes a credibility in the business, and it becomes easier for them to get money from the market. That is a one person company. Small company. Now, what is a small company? Like based on the capital amount introduced, a company may be termed as a small company. Why was this done? There's a concept called MSMEs, like micro, small, and medium enterprises, right? Like your capital in terms of 200 crores or up to 200 crores, up to 50 crores. Based on that, a particular company is defined as small, medium, or micro, right? It was done to formalize. It was done to bring all these small businesses into a format, into a systematic system, so that the government can track what is happening, so that government can give easy money, so that they can also be credible, right? Like the government wants to give money to small businesses, but it also wants them to repay the money, right? For that, for keeping everything in check, they want them to be formalized as a company, filing their statements, filing their forms, getting registered on portals. For that, they wanted them to become as a small company. And this is why a concept of small company was also introduced, right? The third one is dormant company. What is a dormant company? Now, dormant company is a very interesting concept. Now, what happens is, let us suppose new and innovative form of company structure that can be created for future projects or to hold on an intellectual property till the time actual functioning begins. Now, let us suppose I innovated a new kind of, let us suppose a new technology, right? But I know it will take me 2 years. It will take me 2 years to get that thing started, or to sell that thing, right? What I can do is I can form a dormant company and register it as a dormant company, register my patent, register my intellectual property in that dormant company, and then work for the next 2, 3 years to build a business and then start selling, and then convert that dormant company into a regular company. What will this help? Why will this help? Because it will help me give more funds from the market. It will regularize me. It will give me credibility, right? It will help me understand the nuances of business. It will help me be registered. It will protect my intellectual property, and I can focus on technology than being scared that my particular product will be like stolen, right? So a dormant company where future projects or intellectual property can be held for 2-3 years before the actual business starts. So this is a very interesting concept that has been introduced. So one person company, small company, and a dormant company, right? Question on the screen, everybody. In recent news articles from around the world, there has been an increasing trend of privatization of companies. Why do you think this is happening? In the recent news articles from around the world, there has been an increasing trend of privatization. A lot of companies are becoming private. From public companies, a lot of companies are converting into private companies. Why do you think this is happening? 30 seconds on the clock. Yes, all types of companies are covered in our laws. Companies Act covers all kinds of companies. GDP is gross domestic product, that is the value of all the goods and services that are produced in a country. The value of all the goods and services produced in the country. Right now, the GDP of India is around $2.8 trillion, right? Focus on the question on the screen though. Last 4-5 minutes, and I think we'll be able to wrap up this session. Just bear with us for the next 4-5 minutes. Ten seconds more, and then we'll review the answer. Why do you think a lot of public companies are converting into private companies? 5, 4, 3, 2. All right, the correct answer is as public trading companies have huge cost of compliance, right? Public companies have to report to SEBI, they have to report to RBI, they have to report to ROC, they have to report to the general public, to the vendors, to the stakeholders, to the promoters, to the investors, to the banks, right? So there is huge compliance on a public company. So that is why a lot of companies are converting into private company so that the cost of compliance, so that the time wasted on compliance is reduced, right? Okay, next question on the screen. Which is the largest company in India in terms of market capitalization? Succession means giving that money ahead to your kids, to your children. Question on the screen is, which is the largest company in India in terms of market capitalization? What is market capitalization? Is the price of the share into number of shares. Which is the largest company in India in terms of market capitalization? Compliance means filing all your returns, filing all your reports with banks and your income tax department, RBI, SEBI. Compliance means following all the regulations and rules. Okay, I see a few of you answering question. The correct answer is Reliance Industries Limited. Currently, Reliance Industries Limited has the highest market capitalization in India, somewhere around 15 lakh crores. All right. Okay. With that, we come to the end of chapter number 1, that is introduction. Let us just quickly revise what we studied. Like, what is business and what is commercial knowledge? Why is it relevant for us? Why is a chartered accountant I have to study it? What are human activities? Human activities are economic and non-economic. Under economic, we have business, profession, employment. Under business, we understood what is a business, what are the different forms, what are the different three things in business spectrum: production, distribution, and trade, right? Then we understood about forms of business organization. That is, first one was your sole proprietorship, HUF, partnership, LLP, company, private and public, one person company, dormant company, and small company, right? And finally, we also talked about you have to keep yourself like abreast with a lot of new things that are happening in the economy, a lot of things that are happening in the news. Go read Google, find some good videos on YouTube, and I would really suggest if all of you can actually like get on LinkedIn, like start finding people, start making connections, because that is one of the biggest advantage you will have, like when you become a professional. If you start early, next 3 4 years you can grow and be active on LinkedIn. There's a lot of things that are happening there, a lot of good opportunities you will find in life, right? So with that, I think last 2 minutes, I'll take up any questions that you have, and we will wrap this up. Okay. Sole proprietor and OPC, same? No, sole proprietorship is a different form of business. If sole proprietorship is converted into company, we call it a one-person company. Yes, we will take NCQs, but I will have a separate session, like 1 hour session, where we will collate all the chapters, right? Like just one chapter wouldn't make sense. I will collate and then mix all the questions so that it becomes easier or it becomes tougher for you to like figure out from what chapter that question is. Uh, Khushi, I don't get, I think I missed your question. Can you type the question again? No, Shravani, we talked about Hindu undivided business as Buddhist, Jain, and Sikhism. Thank you so much, Oroshi. Thanks. Thank you. Okay, Isabel says, why hydrated? Because you need to drink a lot of water to keep yourself healthy and fresh, right? Is there any running HUF business? There are a lot of businesses that are HUF. Like if you stay somewhere in North India, right, you will know like Chandni Chowk is a place. 80% of the businesses in Chandni Chowk are HUF form of businesses. Okay, last 30 seconds. Any questions, any thoughts, and then we'll wrap it up. I think that partnership question, I'll come back to you. Right? Maybe I could be wrong, not an issue. Like maybe some issue in editing. I'll check that and come back to you. Number of partners. Thank you so much for everyone joining, and how to prepare for exams. I would just give you one simple tip: is be confident. Right? I think a lot of people miss out on telling. They keep telling you what to do, what not to do. I think do whatever you feel is right, and you should be confident in what you're doing, right? If you feel that you're not doing the right thing, then please do the right thing, what you feel is right. If you're not studying enough, please study enough. If you think you should study like some from other book, not this book, go for it. Whatever you are confident with, do that. Like that is my only tip, because at the end of the day, you have to be extremely confident when you sit for the exam, and that will only come when you do what you think is right for you, right? Okay, with that, I think we can wrap this session today. I'll meet you guys on Friday with next chapter, more questions, more quiz, and more doubts. Like I think I'll be happy if you guys come out with more doubts, right? So thank you so much. Thanks for coming, and I'll meet you some in on Friday, right?